Hey Wide Wargamers, Omega Warlord here. We're going to do the next section of the shooting phase, and I'm going to go through two different things with you today. The first off is going to be how to fire with these. Okay, so these are special weapons that use some different rules, and if you put them together, they make a race car. I'd do that. Anyway, so so we're going to go over how to fire with those, and I'm also going to go over the beginnings of wound allocation. Now, I'm going to stop today at saving throws, because that gets crazy. So we're gonna do template weapons, that is this one, and blast weapons, that is these. All right guys, so I've got a quick little setup here. Now I've got Chaos Marines Vindicator. I've got an Obliterator here, he's gonna be one of my helpers. And then I've got 5 lovely little orcs. Now these orcs are a little warped. This is their debut. As you can tell, they are not quite green. So these is our Warp Wide Wall orcs, and as Thavian wants me to cheekily call them, they are Yorks, because they're yellow orcs. So we have our Warp Wide Yorks here, and they're going to be, this is their debut. They get to get shot at. I mean, they're orcs. What else are you going to do? So here we go. Let me start with the template weapon. Now the template weapon is the Teardrop. Okay, that's what this one is. Now mine is a little modified. You see the hole here that doesn't come with that. I put that in there so I can hang it on like a peg. And then I've got my marking here, but this is mine. So we're going to start with that. Now, a template weapon is fired from a model, this guy right here, and we're going to fire from his base. So you set it down next to the base here, and here's the thing. Perfect world, this would just flow right through, but you kind of got to guess a little bit. So you might even see the top of my head. Look, there it is. All right, so you're going to look here from the model's base, okay? Now, on my point of view, I'm not touching it. There we are. So it fires from the base. A lot of people like to try to fire from the weapon. I fired from the weapon. No, see, it's off the base. So you got to fire from the model's base. And a template weapon, this is how you hit. You just adjust here to how you kind of want to hit. Now, you have to take the most. So as you can look right here, I'm hitting 3. All right, I'm barely clipping these two guys and that guy right there. So I'm hitting 3. But over here, I'm hitting 4. All right? Kind of hard to tell on the camera angle, but it's there. So I'm hitting 4. You have to take the one that hits 4. Let's give an example here. Let's say that for some reason Abby was a traitor and he was in a different unit back here. You can't fire at this unit, target 3, and hit him. It won't work. You have to hit the 4. Okay? So that's a template weapon. And guess what? Congratulations, you hit 4. No roll. Pretty simple template weapon. Okay, now let's talk blast weapons. So that's these two. All right, we have small blast and large blast. Okay? Large blast is what we're going to use because that's the Vindicator's profile, but they both work exactly the same way, just different size. So what you do is you take the blast weapon, you set it down where you think you're going to get the most here, like right there, I get all 5. If that lands right there, I get all 5. But guess what? You don't know where it's going to land because it's a blast. So we take our scatter dice, and we're going to scatter 2d6 here. So I'm going to sit here and roll. Ooh, look what I got. See that little mark right there? That means I hit right on, so I don't care about the numbers now. So I hit right on and boom, I hit 5. That's all it takes. I hit 5. Okay? So, now let's say that we're going to scatter. There we go. So I got myself a nice little scatter. You take the direction of the arrow and you then scatter it that many inches, whatever you rolled. Now in this case, I rolled a 7. But you have a ballistic skill that you subtract from the scatter. So the ballistic skill of this Vindicator is 4. So 7 minus 4 is 3. In this case, I scattered 3 inches this direction from my previous placement, which lands him right on top of there. Put down the thing, and boom. Now, guess what? Look how close this was here, okay? If I'd scattered 1 more inch like that, I would have hit my own guy. And yes, you can hit your own guys with scatters from blast markers. And that's how they work. You know, a small blast is functionally the exact same. It just scatters around. Pretty simple. Okay, so now we know how to hit with the blast markers. We know how to hit with our normal weapons. Now we're going to move on and talk about wound allocation, which I got to show you how to wound, and then we will do wound allocation. All right, guys. So here we are with the fun part of the shooting phase. This is the how to wound section. So what I've got some Chaos Bikers here. I've got a guy with a melt-a-gun, and the guys with the twin link bolters as usual. And then I have my orcs over here to get shot at. All right. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to go through the whole process check range, line of sight, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to start with a little bit of the check range, okay? So I've nominated a unit. My bikers are going to fire at the orcs. I'm going to check range. Ooh, good. That's good. He's outside of 12. That's a sad day. But he's not. All right. That made any sense. Oh, he is within 12. Okay, see? Always double check yourself. So, let's go through the shooting process. 2 shots from that bolter rapid firing. 2 shots from that bolter rapid firing. 2 shots from that bolter rapid firing. And I'm going to fire my melta-gun, okay, which is going to be this guy. Now, check my range. I'm all in range. Roll a hit. All right, so my ballista skill is 4, which means I hit on what? If you said 3s, you are correct. Okay, now, I'm going to go ahead and employ a special rule bikes have, which is called twin linked. All it means is, well, their guns have it. These 3. All it means is you can reroll. Yay. So, I hit this many times. Now, I'm at my wound pool, okay? So I got to roll the wound, just like we did in the last video. Remember, it's on that chart. You always want to be looking at that chart. So here we go. I needed, let's see, these are knobs, so they're toughness 4. So I needed 4s to wound and 2 for the melta. So I didn't wound these 2. So here's my wounds. Now, this goes into what we call the wound pool. Okay? The wound pool is a little pool of wounds. Yeah. So we separate the different kind of weapons to different kind of wound pools. Now here's the trick. The maximum range of a bolter is 24 inches. Therefore, it can hit anything within 24 inches, which, as you can see, is well off screen. But the maximum range of a melta is 12. So it can only hit things within 12. Now look here with me. This first orc knob isn't within 12, but this second one, as you can see, is not. Okay, he is just shy of that 12, all right? Which means this weapon can only kill this orc. Now, as the shooting player, you have the ability to decide which wound pool you do first. So let's pretend like we're new at this and we decide to just look at all these dice, do these wounds first, okay? Well, guess what? If you kill this orc, this dice gets thrown away. It doesn't work anymore. So you always want to choose to use your smaller weapons first, okay? That's typically a good policy to do, all right? So let me reset this with a little different weapon. Move my bikes forward, move my orcs up here. There we go. So now, different scenario. Our bikes are shooting, and instead of a melta this time, this guy's going to have a flamer. Now, I just showed you how to deal with flamers, so we're going to look to see what we can hit. Looks like we can hit 4. That means we hit 4 times. Okay? So, I'm going to set those to the side. Now, I'm going to grab some different colored dice real quick, because we have flamers and we have bolters. So it's important to differentiate your dice. So here we go. The flamers were the green. Here we go. We've already hit 4 times. Already hit. Don't have to roll. All right. Here come the bolters. Bolters roll. Oh, remember how I talked about not flat on the table? I think it's a cocked dice. There we go. So, wow, that was a good roll. Maybe we should tell Thaven to use these dice. Okay, there we go. Now, I hit that many with the flamer. I hit that many with the bolter. Let's check that range on that flamer. Okay, now it can hit... It has a range where it can hit them all, okay? So in order to speed things up, we'll just go ahead and say, go ahead and do all of them. Now, that'll speed things up, and then we do the next roll, which is rolling for saves. All right, now, saves are gonna be in the next video because they are all different kinds of stuff, okay? Save is basically because I hit and wounded you, doesn't mean I killed you, you know? I mean, this guy, look at this. This guy's got this cool helmet. That helmet might stop the bullet. Or, you know, it might have hit his arm and actually hurt him, or it might have punched him in the face and he's dead. Or maybe they were behind some cover, because that changes things. Or maybe they have this cool force field around them, because that changes things. So lots of different things will change on saves. We'll do that in the next video, but for right now, just know that these hit automatically. These use that cool scatter dice. And when you allocate wounds, always go from the closest to the furthest away. So let's say that I hit, and I'm going to go and take this away again. I'm going to hit and I'm going to wound with all those dice I had earlier. So I take away the wounds, I wound on 4s, strength 4 to toughness 4, wounds on 4s. All right, so I did all these wounds. Okay, now I have to allocate those wounds. So we go from the closest model. Now we can always check that guy is about 3 1/4 inches. This guy is 3 1/2, so he's going to take the first wounds. So we start with him taking our saves. Okay, he takes saves until he dies, and then we go to the next closest guy. He takes saves until he dies, and the next closest guy, and so on. So it starts from closest to closest, right? That's how we're going to allocate our wounds. There are some things that can change that. There's a rule called precision strike, where you get to pick where it starts. Or if you fire a special kind of weapon called barrage, which normally uses Ds, then it starts from the center hole and goes out. So those can change that, but that's how you allocate wounds. Saving throws will be in the next video, which will be all encompassing on saving throws. Okay. I hope you like it, share it, like it, subscribe it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time here on Wide Wargaming.